And political affairs analyst Dayo Fagbulu joins me now for more discussion on the relations between both world powers and what could possibly be the way forward under President Joe Biden's leadership. Good to have you join us, Dayo Fagbulu. So President Trump's approach to China was quite competitive and confrontational. Do you think that there is somehow some sort of sigh of relief in China now that President Joe Biden is the president of the United States?
Well, there's a clear indication that Joe Biden will definitely soft pedal on all the sanctions that the Trump administration had issued on China. But having said this, it's important to note that, exports had increased by 18.1% during the Trump administration and imports by 6.5%. So if this is the case, it's not as bad as, they project it to be. All they're saying is that they want a little bit more, and this might happen under an administration with looser restrictions or sanctions on the Chinese government. You must understand also that the same concerns that Trump had, Biden also has. The concern is that China tends to utilize unfair trade practices, in most cases. So the concerns are still there. Of course, the approach is being soft-pedaled, and I guess Biden will have a more liberal approach, more liberal outlook to trade agreements and proposals. But the concerns that Trump had are still there, they still exist, and they will still be considered in moving forward.
And that's where I really want to talk. My next question is coming from, because when you look at the confirmation hearing of President Biden's nominee for Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, he agreed with President Trump's stance on China. And that leaves a question as to whether we're going to see more competition or cooperation now that between U.S. and China under President Biden.
The object of the whole process itself is to bring some degree of equity. You don't want massive trade deficits. Neither do you want, situations where jobs are lost in the Americas or in America, precisely. So I think it's finding a balance between these things that will occur. The objectives have not changed. It's the approach that's going to change now. China, like I said, has utilized so many unfair trade practices over the years. It's evident that Biden will still continue with, his posture of demanding that China presents a more equitable trade position with them as they move forward. That's the best way I can put it.
But has Biden, because just before President Trump left office, he released his document on how, on the U.S.-China policy, what he was going to do if he had won. That was his stance in the first term. If he had won a second term, he would have continued. And you see how tough that document really was. Does that make things difficult in terms of President Biden, beyond trade, being able to check China on allegations of human rights abuses, especially when you also look at the insurrection in the U.S.?
Look, Biden is a more engaging president. His presidency is a more engaging one. It's a lot more liberal. Of course, he will ask those pertinent questions. Human rights violations and similar aspects of it. He will look, the total aspect of sustainability in their relationship. But like I said, the objective is still the same. China has been totally unfair in their practices towards America in terms of trade. And that is all Biden will be looking at. He will still drive for liberalism, free trade as much as possible, demanding that China upholds all the standards that are required of them in a free trade association. The value of the yuan compared to that of the dollar, for a country that is producing so much, the currency should be a lot stronger. Yes, human rights violations are there and other aspects of it. They will demand that China some attempt to uphold all the rules that are concerning this relationship. I think that's all that's going to happen. It's still going to be a more liberal position he has to take towards them. But
just allow me